it's time for you to stop following the medical medium. Now, if you look online for any negative feedback on the medical medium, anybody who is concerned about him considers him to be things like a snake oil salesman. There are some out there. There's not a lot, but there are some. And what they're doing is they're looking at the fact that he puts very, very clearly on his website that he is not a medical doctor. He's not a medical professional. He does not have anything in the way of background in medicine. So you have to take that in the back of your mind. But at the same time, he talks to you like he is a medical professional, like he has really important, life-changing information for you. But does he? You can also see some very, very negative responses and some semi-negative responses where people say, hey, he didn't work for me, but good for him, and whatever you like, go for it. That's not me. And I'm also not in that camp. What I want to say today is something that I have not seen from anybody else so far, and I'm hoping that will change. He calls himself the medical medium. And what he means by that is that he considers himself to be a medium between himself, this physical world, and the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. So he is actually channeling spirits. This is a problem. Let me explain why. What is the spiritual realm? Is it real? Yes, it is absolutely real. Now, it's not like what you would normally see, in a movie or a TV show, Buffy or Poltergeist or a Demogorgon or anything like that. But the spiritual realm is very, very real. And that's why there are so many people who are trying to access it. That's why you have all of these spiritual practitioners out there. They're everywhere. In fact, our culture has become consumed with it. It's something that's been very popular in, say, India and surrounding areas. Anybody involved in things like Hinduism and Buddhism and these kinds of things. They're very, very involved in the spiritual realm. And we look at that and say, well, it's kind of neutral, right? Maybe there's good, maybe there's bad. And that's not true either. And I want to get more into that next. The spiritual realm consists of created spirit creatures, beings. There are angels in heaven, and there are fallen angels on earth. Those are the spirits. Another thing that we call them is demons. Now, remember that Satan is someone who disguises himself as an angel of light. So he doesn't just look like some scary, crazy creature. He appeals. He knows what you love. He loves to stroke your ego. He loves to look beautiful and sound beautiful. He loves to promise you things. But all of his purposes are evil, ultimately. And you have to actually really think about this, the spiritual realm and what it is. When you are messing with the spiritual realm, when you are trying to engage in it, you are playing around with very, very serious evil. And yes, that does affect your eternity, but it also affects your life now, because everything may seem great when you're doing it, but ultimately very, very horrible things will result. And there are just a ton of testimonies out there from people who have been involved heavily in these things, and yet in the end recognize that what they were doing was evil and disastrous, and it was horrible for people. I want to recommend a couple of people right now that you should look up on YouTube or Instagram, whatever your favorite social media platform is. One is Doreen Virtue. She's got a very popular YouTube channel. She was a hugely popular mystic. She was involved in fortune telling and tarot cards and all of that. And her accuracy was actually very high because she was actually talking to demons. She was dealing with the demonic. She was having visions. She was doing all of it. And she tells you very clearly what she was doing. And she is now apologizing for it. And in fact, doing everything that she can to help people out of that, and to at times actually even reimburse people for purchasing her books. She was making, I don't know, maybe millions of dollars. She was very rich and very popular. Another one is Stephen Bancarz, who you'll actually see as well on Doreen's channel. They know each other. Stephen was involved in the occult as well, and is now out and is now a Christian and warning people about these things. And I highly, highly recommend both of them. So please check them out if you want to know more about what the spirit realm really is that Anthony William is dabbling with. So the big question is he really talking to a spirit, a demon, or is he making it all up? Well, I mean, it's possible he's making it all up because it sure sells well. So he's having a great time making a very solid, popular, happy career out of all of this for now. But I actually do think he probably is talking with demons. One in particular that apparently he started talking with when he was 4 years old. Can only imagine what his life was like then if he was already talking to demons at 4 years old. And then from there, he talks in his books, from what I understand. I haven't read them, but from what I've seen from him and other people interviewing him, he does talk then about all the other spirits that he is now talking with as well, and how you could access them too. This is a problem. Now, what these demons are telling him, are they absolutely false? Are they wrong all the time? Is everything he tells you absolutely totally wrong? No, probably not. There probably is some truth in there, because that's how it works when you want to lie to somebody, right? What you do is you bleed a little bit of truth in there too. So then the lie sounds more palatable, more possible, more maybe even a good thing, and probably trustworthy. So that's what he's doing there. That's what these demons are doing with him. And I'm inclined to think he probably believes them. He actually probably believes what he's telling you. The problem is they're lying. They're lying to him. They're lying to you. They want you to buy into this crap. They want you to spiritualize drinking celery juice. I mean, is there anything wrong with drinking celery juice? Nope. As far as I know, no. Go for it. If you like it, feels good, great. If you find some health benefit from it, it's good for your digestion or something, hey, go for it, Or there's other kinds of vegetables you might juice as well that you could find really helpful too. So go for it, Nothing wrong with celery. But the problem is what he's doing with it. The kind of craze he's created, it was all wrapped around lies. And if you're following him, if you're buying his books, if you're supporting him, if you're sharing him, you're telling your friends how he's probably going to heal you and heal all these chronic conditions and everything, then you're supporting something demonic, and you can do better. Now, you should understand, if you've seen my other videos, you know that I'm no big fan of the medical system, and I don't think they have all the answers for chronic illness. I have multiple chronic illness conditions that I'm dealing with, and I have been failed by the medical system completely. So I'm not saying don't deal with them at all, because I still try to, and I think there are times when they can be helpful. There's times when they have certain tools that will be useful to you. But ultimately, there probably are some better, more natural ways to just get past some of the negative things that we've had done to our bodies in our current modern system. And sometimes there aren't. Sometimes you do just have to live with it and suffer through. I recognize that too. But in the meantime, of course, if you're suffering from chronic illness like I am, then you're trying to find ways to treat it. And you don't just want to take a bunch of big pharma meds that make you feel even worse and make you dependent on them and all that. Neither do I. So I get it. But at the same time, we have to use a lot of discernment when it comes to what these people are telling us to do. So recently, I've followed, especially for my own interest, I followed even a lot more than I used to, of people who are offering tips for healing naturally. And I find that often there's probably about 10% of what they say that's worth actually trying. The rest of it is garbage. And the medical medium is in that same category. But because he is actually dealing with the demonic, I would recommend you just pass him right on by. If you've been following him, stop following him. Go somewhere else. There are better options out there. Yes, they're hard to find. It is a lot of work, and that's the big problem, is that you have to put in a ton of effort and energy that you probably don't have, time that you don't have, but you have to do it. It's required. Especially if you're a Christian, you should know that you're not supposed to be dealing with the demonic. That's not ever going to help you. That is not ever blessed by your Creator. So it's time to walk away from that. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of people out there trying to sell you products right now. They're trying to sell you their system, their way of healing naturally. And like I said, probably about 10% of what you're going to see in all of that is going to be helpful. It's going to be useful. But a lot of it is also garbage still. And what I'm noticing, especially in these little online conferences and things that they're doing, there's a lot of the spiritual woven in that is also demonic. It may seem even less obvious than the medical medium, but it's still there. It's still a problem. If you're getting involved in Reiki, if you're getting involved in things like mindfulness meditation, which is actually mindlessness meditation, another Hindu Eastern mystic practice that is involved in trying to get you to access the demonic realm and believe that it's somehow neutral or even positive when it's not. And it has nothing to do with, for instance, essential oils or types of food that you're taking or walking on grass or any of those sorts of things. These are not spiritual things and they shouldn't be seen as spiritual. Don't fall for that. Don't try to use it as that. It might make you feel good. There might be some placebo effect, but ultimately, you know, if your essential oil makes you feel good because it smells good, hey, use it. Great, wonderful. But there's nothing spiritual about it. If you've got some pretty crystals hanging in your room because they look pretty, they make some nice rainbows, that's great. They're not spiritual though, and trying to apply the spiritual, trying to invoke the demonic through it is not going to ever be good for you in the end, and I cannot stress that enough. So what does the medical medium say about himself? Does he really say that he is trying to access the spirit realm? Well, let's read his website. This is the About page on his own website. It starts off by just telling you all about the books that he's written, and then towards the end of the first paragraph, let's start there. Anthony was born with the unique ability to converse with the spirit of compassion, who provides him with extraordinarily advanced healing medical information that's far ahead of its time. Since age 4, Anthony has been using his gift to see into people's conditions and tell them and their doctors how to recover their health. Over decades of helping individuals find the answers they needed, Anthony found that he could only help so many as his waiting list continued to grow. Anthony now dedicates much of his time and energy to listening to Spirit of Compassion's information and placing it into books so everybody can have an opportunity to heal. His unprecedented accuracy and success rate as the medical medium have earned him the trust and love of millions worldwide. Among them, movie stars, rock stars, billionaires, professional athletes, and countless other people from all walks of life who couldn't find a way to heal until he provided them with insights from above. Over the decades, Anthony has also been an invaluable resource to doctors who need help solving their most difficult cases. Neither Anthony William nor Anthony William Inc. is a licensed medical doctor or other formally licensed healthcare practitioner or provider. So there's just a ton of claims here that he provides zero backup for. He's decided to tell you all of these things, like let's point out his unprecedented accuracy. What does that mean? Can you prove that? Is there like a list somewhere that somebody took of all the times he was right and all the times he was wrong? Now, of course, we're assuming that maybe there is some accuracy because he is really talking to demons and they've been around a long time. They know a lot of things. So it's possible, but he doesn't give you any reason to actually believe it other than to just take his word for it. And then there's decades of helping individuals, and I'm sure that his wait list is long because there are so many people falling for this stuff. It's terrifying to think how many people are just buying into this. If you have been buying into this, please, 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 I beg you, stop. You need to move on to something better. You don't need the demonic to help you with your health. And of course he uses billionaires and athletes and movie stars and all this to kind of bump things up like that. Makes him much more dependable. I would also love to know which doctors say that he's been a great help to them, because that would be certainly very interesting. I've never heard or seen anyone actually saying this. So again, this is just him saying it about himself, and you're supposed to just believe him. And you're supposed to believe this capitalized Spirit of Compassion, who is the demon, the primary demon that he is talking to, or at least claims to be talking to. This just one page is incredibly concerning. And I notice how he does say that he is not a licensed healthcare professional and all that kind of thing, and he has to do that, otherwise he would get sued. So this keeps him off the hook. He doesn't have to claim any responsibility for what he says to people, because he's telling you clearly he's not a doctor. And yet, everything he gives you in his books and his videos, his articles, everything else, all makes it sound like he's giving you solid medical information to help you get better, to help you heal, to help you live a better life, whatever, all of those things that he's promoting. So he's not a doctor, but he's pretending to be a doctor. That's really the only way you could summarize it. He's letting you know he's not, but at the same time, you should just listen to everything he says as if he were. This is really serious. So he's very clear. This is all about what the spirits are telling him. This is about this one spirit that has sort of taken him on like a pet and is feeding him all this information, is telling him, once you understand that it is the demonic, he will never tell you it's the demonic, because even if he knows that it is, he's in so deep now in his career and probably in his own personal life that there's no way he's going to just flat out admit it unless he turns to Christ. If he repents and turns to Christ, he can know forgiveness for that. He can repent and he can be a blessing to the world. He probably won't get into medical science and all that kind of thing, but his testimony would be a beautiful thing for us to see. So if you are a Christian, I recommend that you pray for him. Pray that he does turn to Christ and he repents of all of the horrific, evil things that he is promoting to the world and making a lot of money off of. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll keep on watching more videos. I hope to do some more reviews on some similar topics. God bless.